And with that, it's time to present I guess since we didn't do it the first year, the third annual Studly Awards.
The Studly Doodlies.
The 2019 edition of the Studlies.
And the 2010s edition, decade edition of the Studlies. So we'll be back up to 5 next year. It'll all work out.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll begin, as we do every year, with Best Picture, starting with Jake, because the world is anxious to hear if Jake has actually watched the movie he awarded Best Picture this year.
Yeah.
I was debating on it.
Tell us, Jork.
I actually went with the cop-out.
The Cop-Out? That wasn't a bad movie.
Cop-Out.
With Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan.
I'm just going to say movie of the year, Avengers Endgame.
I also had Avengers Endgame as my movie of the year.
Oh.
You know, I thought about it. I didn't see a whole lot of artsy movies this year, and I was trying to think back, and I've seen some good movies, but I just think Endgame was an important movie of it just wrapping up all of the Marvel movies that we've had over the past 10 years. And it was a pretty impressive movie getting the cast.
It was a quality picture that was 10 years in the making. And to its credit, it was a good movie. And honestly, last year, I was on track to give the award to Infinity War, but Spider-Verse came out and snagged the crown.
I would agree with that.
But this year, there wasn't another movie. There wasn't like a sleeper hit that I saw late in the year to really kind of sway my opinion, because this had been my movie of the year or Best Picture for quite a while in my thinking about it. And I couldn't think of anything else that I felt like really deserved it over Endgame, so I gave it 10.
Yeah, it's a movie that I would watch on an airplane whenever. Just you can turn it on whenever and have a good time with it and have an exciting adventure. And like we said, it's an important movie that is a long time in the making, and they did a good job with it. They did a really, really good job with it.
Yeah, it wasn't the movie I expected, but it was good.
No, it had to live up to some immense amount of hype too. But I think they did a decent job with it, and that gets Best Picture of the year from me.
Judging from Peter's silence, I assume he had a different movie.
No, I disagree. Well, not disagree. I just have a different pick.
Okay.
I thought about Endgame, but I thought back over the last year, and the movie that actually gave me that I remember the most smiles, the most I really like this movie, and made me feel good about a movie was Shazam.
Oh, interesting.
It was the most superhero movie that ever superhero movied.
Okay. Just
in that it's very, very classic, sort of good guy hero, funny. It's not trying to shoot for the moon, which I think is a good ambition to have with a superhero movie. And I remember I like this. I'm laughing. I'm having a good time, and that doesn't happen a lot in movies.
Well, maybe
that I watch.
You were just having a good time because of the people you saw the movie with.
That's true. It's the beauty of friendship. Because I totally remember that we were together when we watched that movie. I just straight up enjoyed it, and that's why Shazam is my pick.
All right. We'll move on to most disappointing picture of 2019. I'll start this way because I have a few honorable mentions. This was a rough choice for me. I had a lot of really viable contenders. I want to give honorable mentions to Ad Astra for being the most boring movie I've ever fucking seen. I want to give an honorable mention to Hellboy for personally sparking my feud with David Harbour. But unfortunately, none of them can live up to the just sheer cultural disappointment that I experienced when watching Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. I ranted enough about that movie when we did our 84-minute review. a couple weeks ago. So if you want to hear my thoughts, listen to that. I'm not going to bore everyone with it there, but suffice it to say, I was not pleased with the end result of the sequel trilogy, or the sequel trilogy on the whole.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be an interesting category, I think, because none of my... I also have 2 honorable mentions, and neither of them line up with any of either your honorable mentions or your pick. So my two shout outs for disappointing movies. I wasn't super disappointed in Star Wars 9 because I just didn't have any confidence in it anyhow, so it couldn't let me down. But that's not my honorable mentions. First honorable mention, A Little Battle Angel. I was like, oh, cool anime movie based on a good anime, and then it's just like, oh, okay. Dark Phoenix, because it would have been nice if they could have finished off the X-Men universe with some variety of
quality. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of just like, hey, here's where we're at, guys. It's like Ricky Cricket in season 7 of Always Sunny. You're just like, oh God, how did you get to this point? No, but my real most disappointing movie this year, one very close to my heart, and I'm very sad that they didn't do the justice that the first movie of this did. This is a sequel. This is Best Friends Part 2. Most disappointing. That was actually,
I considered giving it most disappointing as well, but
because Best Friends Part 1 was so beautiful. It was such what a fucking movie that was, and this one was just like, we didn't follow up on any of that.
That was a contender, and if we had opened it up to movies we had watched in 2019, Ninja Operation 3: License to Terminate also would have been a contender.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And Pleasant Surprise would have been Ninja Operation 4: Thunderbolt Angels.
That'd definitely be one of them. So now I'm gonna go back to my old ways and pick a movie that I haven't seen. And just because I'm waiting, it's Cats.
Yeah,
most
Cats.
Disappointing, and I don't think I need to see it to know why it's disappointing.
I mean, the things that disappoint you are very apparent in the trailer, so I will give you a pass on this one.
I've seen a lot of clips though too, and just I think you can just boil it down. It's
this movie exists, therefore it is disappointing.
I've listened to a lot of reviews about it because I'm just genuinely curious how this got greenlit, and because it's nobody wants it, and Kristen gave me a good answer as to why it got greenlit, and it comes from the theater background, where Cats is for some reason, it's an awful play too, or awful musical, but for some reason it's just beloved by so many people. It holds a special place in so many people's hearts, and I think that's how they got a lot of big people to be in this. Taylor Swift, Jason Derulo.
From what I read in reviews last week, Taylor Swift is in the movie for all of 10 minutes.
Oh well.
Yeah,
but they got
it
big
was
names.
Andrew Lloyd Webber, right? And he made this.
Yeah, and
he made the original musical.
Judi Dench, and so it's they got big names in this, and the anime. I'm sure the acting and singing is okay, but
listen to the
or
follow
the
up from last
singing
week.
more than the acting, I think, because it's got fucking Rebel Wilson and it's got James Corden there, and just James Corden is the fucking cancer of this world, and he should be shot dead. But I'm not here to rip on James Corden again. What I'm trying to get at is that there are some bright spots, but it's the fact that the animation, the CGI, is just shrouding it in such shit. It's just, you can't get over it. People are like, oh, you think you're going to get used to it. You think you're going to get used to the weird kind of CGI cat faces on human bodies, but it's too uncanny, and it's just you never get used to it. It's always creepy. It's always creepy.
Jake, if this was a D&D spell, what D&D spell would you cast to make something like Cats? It's got to be like an illusion, like a dark
It's gotta be
illusion
like
spell or
some sort of
something.
illusion or mind control something, because it just seems like you're watching fever dream. Maybe I know what it'd be. It'd be banishment. You've been banished to the plane of cats, where they're all anthropomorphic cats. Fuck it, there you go. You're banished to this realm.
Banished to the Heaviside lair.
And there's other glaring issues. The fact that it wasn't finished on time and it was released unfinished because now they're re-editing it. And there's the set design was weird, where like the scale of things they're not consistent. Like you might have like
Right.
are they cat sized or are they human sized? Because sometimes they're human sized.
Right.
And they're using a really tiny fork or something like that. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
fucking
and
weird.
sometimes the mice are the size of a toe, which is not how mice are in relation to cats. I've heard that. I also heard the mice have children's faces on them, and that Rebel Wilson eats several of the mice with children's faces on them. Or was it that was the cockroaches with human faces
Maybe
on
it's
them?
maybe the cockroaches.
I could not tell you. All of this just sounds terrifying to me.
Yes, nightmare world. Yeah, cats.
It's a reasonable pick.
Good to hear. Good to hear that you hate
All
cats.
right. Most anticipated picture of 2020. We'll start with Peter this time around.
It's gonna be the Sonic movie, because I just want to see what the fuck happens with it. It's coming out in a week. It's coming out next month. That's what I mean. And because I don't know a lot of what other movies are like coming out later in the year.
I actually searched for this and came
Yeah, I
up
did
with
too.
a few things that look good. I'm interested in the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die. But my pick was Ghostbusters Afterlife, because after
That
the
was
travesty
one of my choices too.
of Ghostbusters 2016, I'm eager to see how they try to make good on it. Paul Rudd, I think, is a great choice for the cast. It's got kids in it, more of like a Goonies maybe style take on Ghostbusters. But it certainly looks better than the other one did, and I'm interested to see how they try to fix what they fucked up with the.
Yeah, I almost went with both of your picks. I mean, or one of them. I was kind of leaning more towards the Sonic, because I was interested to see how.
I'm looking forward to
re-editing was
Sonic.
done. that is. This was a hard one to answer, because there's a lot that we're looking forward to in 2020, and yeah, the Ghostbusters revival and rebirth, as it should be called. That's gonna
No,
be
Ghostbusters Resurrection. Come on now. That's the game. That's the sequel game. Ghostbusters Resurrection.
My most anticipated picture, just because I have like no fucking idea what it's gonna be about, is Tenet.
Oh,
And,
okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so just the fact that I have no idea what it's going to be about. It looks really trippy. It looks like there's going to be a lot of cool filmography stuff done with it too. So that could be cool.
Yeah, I think
to
that's
see.
a reasonable pick. The new Chris Nolan movie, getting back to his Inception mindfucky style.
Yeah.
All right, now we shift into games.
Germs.
Starting with game of the
Yes.
year. We had Peter go, so I don't know who to go with next.
I'll go.
All right.
Jake.
So I've been playing this the past couple of days, like nonstop, and I've already told Peter and Kurt a little bit about it. But Modern Warfare, damn, did they do a really good job? So I stopped playing like Modern Warfare a long time ago, and I've played a game here and there because like a friend will have it, and I'll play it, pick it up, and it's really weird just with like all the robot stuff that they brought in and Black Ops and Advanced Warfare and shit. They kind of got back to their roots with Modern Warfare, like MW1, MW2, and this is it's got a really good campaign. I think I played through half to most of the campaign. They did a really, really good job of like keeping it interesting, introducing kind of new stuff to it. And the multiplayer is not as cancerous. I picked it up. I'm decent. I have good rounds. I have bad rounds. It's fun. And The gun customizations are a little wonky at first, but once you understand their system of attachments and stuff like that, you get the hang of it. It's been like a kind of a throwback to the past when I played Modern Warfare 2 with my friends, and it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time. I'm having fun with it.
Makes me you're like Anton when he ate the fucking ratatouille at the end of Ratatouille.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly. I've become I've been a shriveled shrew to games.
Is that what did Jake look like a giant fat raisin?
Whenever I play a
school?
game, I just be like, "No, I've been this. I've been a shrew to games." And then once I picked up this one game that I thought I was gonna probably say, it's whatever. It's fucking Modern Warfare. It's Call of Duty. Instead, I was like, "Oh, I remember." Back to spraying and praying with a light machine gun with Full Metal Jacket on. Oh, so good. So good. I like it.
All right.
Yeah. I'll take
Sure.
the next one. So I'm gonna keep my selections to games I played this year. I won't be doing that when we move on to later categories for our further awards. But right now, for the games of the year, I'll be keeping it games I played. And honorable mention is Xeno Crisis, just because they worked really fucking hard on it. It's a really good and
I
polished
was
game.
almost certain that was your game of the year.
No, I love it, but it's not like the fucking thing. It's not the bajaw. It was my favorite game of the year, not the game of the year for me. That game is Baba Is You.
Interesting.
Unique, innovative, fucking content out the ass. So simple, yet so deep. You know, it's one of those games that will spawn like 40 low quality clones. You know, I don't think it's caught the popularity that it should, but if it did, it's the kind of game where you'd be like, it's Kababibu. Walk around as this caveman pushing rocks, and the rocks make them do stuff. Totally not Baba Is You, but it's one of those things that just comes sprung forth from a person's mind that I think they just made it at like a game jam one time, and people were like, this is a really fucking good game. So they folded it out, they expanded it out into a feature length game, and it looks great, feels great, fun, great, makes me fucking frustrated sometimes, and I'm like, this sucks. But I love it.
I played actually quite a few games this year, more than I did last year, and there were some big games that came out this year, like Borderlands 3 and Kingdom Hearts 3, and things that you would expect might, steal my game. Their new Pokemon game, also. Things that you might expect to kind of steal away my game of the year. But no, actually, my game of the year is a little indie game called Slay the Spire. I have never played a game that was so well designed for its genre. It is a card battling dungeon crawl thing that has the right balance, the right mix of balance and difficulty, where even if you have a good run, you can just get matched up with an enemy that's a bad matchup for your build and get fucked over. It's endlessly replayable. There's so many different builds to explore with the 3 different characters, and they're adding a 4th character. I'm really looking forward to that. And I've just sunk so much. Last night, I was up to 2:30 in the morning playing Slay the Spire. I've put so many hours into this game, and it was just a game Peter gifted to me when it was still in like beta or early access. He's like, here, this looks like something you might enjoy. And I played it once. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Then we played it on the stream. I'm like, I actually really like this. Let me just keep playing this.
Wait a fucking second here, kids.
Yeah, and it's the game I've played most that came out in 2019. So yeah, it's really fun. It's really well made. It's great, got great design, and yeah, if you haven't played it, it's not super expensive, and if it's the kind of game that you're into, you will find fewer games better.
Yes, I love Slay the Spire. Such a fun ride. I'll start off though with the most disappointing games of the year. For me, this was a little harder because if I don't like a game or I think it's going to be bad, I just don't play it. I will go to see movies that I think are bad, but I will not play games that I think are bad. So this had to be a game that I bought and proceeded to go and actually play in 2019. That disappointed me. That's slim pickings, but nevertheless, I have a selection, and it is Wargroove, the Chucklefish Games Advance Wars like sort of deal, or like Fire Emblem. The game itself is not bad. It's fine. The writing could be a little better. But what made the most disappointing for me was, one, that this comes from the studio that has allegedly exploited junior developers or intern developers to make Starbound with unpaid labor, which that's not good. Which is a shame because Starbound is really good. But exploiting the youth, not good. The other thing is this: it's a personal thing for me. The game just crashes for me, so I couldn't really play it. I played the first chapter, and then eventually it kept starting to crash on me, like a bug popped up or something, and I couldn't find a patch for it. I couldn't find an answer, so I had to put it down and be like, I don't know, maybe they'll fix it in fucking a gajillion years from now. I don't know. But I was like, I also wanted to play this game, so I was like, oh, okay, now I can't play it. That sucks. That's disappointing. So that's why it's my most disappointing game of 2019.
Imagine that. My most disappointing game of 2019 is Kingdom Hearts 3. It's not necessarily that it's a bad game, but I played through Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and some of the other side games before I played Kingdom Hearts 3. That thing was sitting on my shelf for like a month and a half before I got around to playing it because I wanted to get refreshed on the story. And playing through those games again, I remember why I liked them so much when I was younger. And they're really well-made games, and they've got an interesting story, and it's gripping. It's Square Enix at Square Enix's best. And then you get to Kingdom Hearts 3, and right from the very beginning, when you see what the game looks like, it's been made in the Unreal 4 engine, and it very much looks like a lot of other games made in the Unreal 4 engine, which is not what you want out of a game that had a unique art style like Kingdom Hearts and just Square Enix games in general. And the gameplay was changed to be very frenetic, and there's a lot of stuff going on, which isn't necessarily bad, but I preferred the combat system of Kingdom Hearts 2 to it, and they took away drive forms and stuff like that in favor of weapon-based transformations. You can hold multiple keyblades. It's a very different game. It feels, and maybe some of these have been in some of the incremental installments that I haven't played, and I could have taken issue with them then, but this is my first exposure to a lot of the changes in the system. And that plus the story, I haven't finished it yet. I've played maybe the first two worlds. I played the Toy Story world, and I played the Tangled world, and I haven't touched the game in like 4 months. So, it just didn't grip me like the other two did. And for that, for a game I kind of wanted to like, for that, and I've been waiting for it for a long time, I have to give this 14 years in the making, and quite a bit of a disappointment too. So, Kingdom Hearts 3, most disappointing game of 2019.
Okay. All right. So for my pick, I again, what Peter said, it's kind of tough to pick, out of this long roster of games that have come out in 2019. I haven't played all of them, and this is one that I haven't played, but I've looked into it a little bit.
You get that pass, Jake, though. You can review whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, no, because games you liked, I could see more. Yeah, play those games. Obviously, those are a little bit more fun to play, but for disappointing games, I'm okay with taking reviews and kind of formulating my own opinion after seeing gameplay and whatnot. And, one of the reasons why this is disappointing is it was disappointing. Death Stranding was talked about for so long that Hideki Kojima was
Hojima.
Hojima. I'm just gonna abbreviate his name into one word. Hojima was gonna be coming out with his own game, and he was gonna be leashes off, and people were thinking that this was going to be so good because he didn't have the constraints of any big corporation, but maybe sometimes that's a little necessary because this game was really fucking weird, and I think it was for a very specific audience who was going to be like, wow, this is all neat and artistic and I can see the message behind this, but it was like there was I think a story just hidden under muddled gameplay and long intensive cutscenes. And because I think, like we said before, this guy wants to be a filmmaker. He's going to make this like a movie. So are you playing a game or are you watching a movie? Like, make up your mind. So I've definitely seen some gameplay of it where it's just the controls are fucking wonky and the vehicles don't operate like they should. It's a walking simulator to a certain extent. Unless the story is like amazing, there's just no reason for that. It's like, I don't know how, even if the story was great, polish your game a little bit and make it better than what it is. So I think it suffered the fact that it had so much hype, and I just think it's a passion project for Kojima.
Yeah. I feel like in this case, the direction from the other parts of the studio and Konami and stuff may not have been like a leash and more like the fucking gutter ball lanes for when you put it up for the kids.
Yeah, like they want to hit the target. They know what the audience as a like broader audience.
In fairness to Kojima,
wants.
Much has been said about how horrible a company Konami is to work at and work for.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm not saying they rating in his creative vision, yes, but like maybe they were in the right. Yeah, probably not.
Let me say this, right? So if Kojima he's the bowling ball without the gutter ball rails, Konami is the rails without the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Because that's what Metal Gear Survive was.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that
you can't get a strike if you don't have a ball.
It's so weird. It's like on like these two entities that were probably horrible for each other. I'm sure he gave them so much flack and fought back as much as he could and probably made it a nightmare for them. But they probably did the same to him. But together they formed this sort of symbiotic relationship that worked. It's just the fact that Jake, somebody was sucking off the teat of the other. What?
Jake, you refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the games industry?
Without the other.
Dove Konami,
you two form a symbiotic circle. Without one of you, the other will perish.
That makes me wonder, like, what if he got involved with another company and that would, give him a little bit more freedom, but still try to keep him on the lane as much as possible, but maybe not toss him around like a rag doll like maybe those gutters were at Konami. So
give him the platinum.
Yeah.
They can make the game, and he can make the fucking crazy shit happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, give him to a responsible studio that will give him...
free to a good studio. Pick him up at the pound a day.
Come on, just go pick him up. He's in the street, the alleyway. Just go pick him up. He's in a dumpster right now. I don't know how
he's not
doing
homeless.
right
he just wants to hang out there.
Yeah, that's where he gets his artistic vision from. So yeah, it's a very interesting situation with Death Stranding coming out, especially with like just how odd it is. So yeah that was my most disappointing game of the year.
All right, and most anticipated game of 2020. This one was an easy slam dunk for me. Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red, makers of the Witcher games, have a good track record for making playable RPGs, at least Witcher 2 on. The original Witcher, the controls are just too weird for me. I can't get into it. But Witcher 2 on, really good. We need more sci-fi RPGs. There are so few of them, and even fewer that are any good. I've had the fantasy setting before. I like the sci-fi setting hasn't been explored as much. And, even though Cyberpunk isn't, what I necessarily want of sci-fi. It's in the same kind of mold as like Deus Ex and stuff like that. So I'm really interested to see what CD Projekt Red can come up with this. And Keanu Reeves is in the game. Some people nut over that. So if that's your thing,
get up, samurai.
I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be good, and I'm interested in seeing how good it is for myself.
Nice. My most anticipated game of the year. As much as I like Cyberpunk, and it'll be great, I'll watch a fucking gajillion videos of it online. Everyone's going to gush over and have nice reviews, or it'll turn out bad and people will hate it. Whichever. But no one's going to fucking review my most anticipated game of the year, which is going to be No More Heroes 3. I've always been a fan of the No More Heroes franchise. I've dipped out after No More Heroes 2 for a little bit because they had just like some mobile games and like a text-based adventure, which I guess tie into the plot later, but Suda will probably do a better job than Kingdom Hearts at tying everything back together, methinks. But in this one, apparently the plot is Travis has to fight alien superheroes. So it's going to be great.
Interesting.
I have you seen the trailer? Have I shown you the trailer?
I don't think I've seen the trailer. I saw the other No More Heroes game was coming out, but I didn't know they were getting a proper third installment.
Yeah, it was great. It came out at the Games Awards. It was like one of the last trailers. Heroes 3 trailer, and they pulled like a switcheroo because the first it's like a 5-minute trailer here. And the first, I want to say 4.5 minutes is like a lead up to a fucking studio. It looks like a Studio Ghibli movie about like a kid who helps an alien go back to his home world. And then the alien comes back after like 20 years. But he comes back and he's like, yo, we're just going to fuck up the whole planet. I got these guys who broke out of space prison. I'm just going to fucking laser this whole city. And Travis is like, I'm going to kill him. If you want like just the whole gist of it, I suggest you skip to 4 minutes and 30 seconds in the trailer.
Panning through here, scrubbing through, and yeah, that's a pretty good description.
Suda 5-1's fucking weird. 4 minutes 30 seconds. And this looks like he's ready to embrace the HD and the stuff. He's a little less gory than he was before. I think he grew out of that phase.
Right.
And he's more poppy and colorful. But I love this fucking... I love that line where he's like, yeah, I heard superheroes are popular on this planet, so we're just going to fucking jump on that.
All right, and Jake.
Sure. Yeah, so this is gonna be an interesting game because we've all been calling for the third installment, and they kind of are giving it to us, but kind of not. And it's also going to be coming with some new VR stuff. So Half-Life Alyx is a game that I'm probably not going to get because I'm assuming the VR shit is going to be way too much, and I'm just going to be like, I'll leave that for some popular YouTuber or Twitch streamer to get, and I'll just watch what the gameplay is like. But I'm interested to see what the kind of VR equipment they come out with, because I've seen the improvements that they've had to what we have right now, and it's been pretty good. And the stuff that they're implementing, I mean, it's catching on. So I don't think I think there will always be that love of like obviously just playing with like a controller or like the PC keyboard, but I don't know. I think that we're slowly going to start to see more implementation of VR into some games, and if it can be done right, maybe Half-Life Alyx is one that can really send it to the next level. I don't know. And I'm also a sucker.
Steam will jizz money everywhere once again.
For sure, yeah. I mean, go for it. I'm always looking for who's gonna be the new Disney of gaming world. Steam's just gonna buy everything up. But yeah, so this will be cool. Plus, I'm a sucker for new technology and stuff like that. So
Valve.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
All right, interesting.
Half-Life Alyx.
And the final 2019 Studly is the Pleasant Surprise Award, which goes to the game or movie, it could be either, that you didn't expect much from but ended up being very enjoyable. And we'll start with Jake.
All right. I went with Joker. And yes, I actually saw this last night. I was like, I really want to give it to Joker. I know I want to give it to Joker, but I have to watch it first. And I fucking loved it.
And it's still in
And
theaters.
it's still in theaters. I actually, no, I tried to rent it, but there was no renting. So I had to do something else to get it. But it was very good quality. And wow, it was very well done. I am so sad that this isn't going to be our new Joker. I want him to be our new Joker because he's so fucking interesting. And he plays the role so well. Yeah, I was just such a fan of Joaquin Phoenix and his portrayal. They did a lot of good things with the movie, and I think a lot of us were cautious and thinking it was going to be a little kind of weird. But they went full dark with it, and it was great. And you know, the R rating definitely was necessary there when you're talking about the Joker. I mean, come on, let's get real.
Right.
You can't.
Put together,
Yeah,
man.
can't like
Yeah.
fucking
Sure.
pussyfoot around.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
Oh, Jesus! I was going to say something, but I lost my train of thought.
I'll pick up that train of thought and I'll what's the guy who broke he mined a hole through a
John
fucking
Henry.
mountain
Thomas
and
the
then he
Tank Engine?
died?
It
Thomas,
was John
Which one
Henry.
Was it fucking? It was John Henry.
Thomas
Yes.
the Tank Engine.
The fuck are you talking?
He was talking about
He
trains.
was a mighty man born with a hammer in his hand.
God damn it, Jake!
Not
All
talking
right,
about Thomas the Tank.
No,
no, we're talking about The Dead Don't Die. That was my pleasant surprise of this year.
Yeah.
We had no fucking expectations
Well,
walking
no.
into this movie other than
we
it's
knew
gonna be weird.
Ghouls was going to be in it, and that was enough for us.
They fucking delivered on that. Adam Driver, that was a movie that cemented for me that Adam Driver was a fucking comedy. He's comedy gold, and he has such a long movie career.
Oh, he's
ahead of him.
great.
God,
He's-
have you seen Marriage Story?
I looked at it and I
haven't.
wanted to go watch it, but I was like, Adam Driver's in it. I like Adam Driver, but Scarlett Johansson's in it. I don't like Scarlett Johansson.
Very good. Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, I would
I
go
hear
see
it's
it.
super sad.
It is. Get yourself in a good headspace. It's about divorce.
Yeah, but I watched the preview. I'm like, oh yeah, Adam Driver is super dad. Yeah, I'll watch that. That seems interesting. And then Scarlett Johansson, I'm like, I don't know.
It also just makes you really want to fucking punch a woman. So
Jake's IMDb review, 10 out of 10. Really just makes you want to go and punch a woman. 600 out of 800 found it helpful.
movie of the year makes you just want to fucking punch a woman.
All right. My pleasant surprise is actually Pokemon Sword and Shield. After the build-up and months and months and months of everyone on Reddit shitting their pants about every little decision and how this was going to be the worst Pokemon ever and how I'm not buying it, the dex cut, all the nonsense around it, the forced experience share, but still not being able to catch over-level Pokemon, chalking out both sides of their mouth. After all the smoke cleared, what we were left with was one of the more enjoyable Pokemon experiences I've had since Gen 5. Granted, the story was fakakta. The story doesn't make any sense. But everything else about it was actually really fun. I thought the gameplay was balanced. I thought the Galar Dex was balanced. I like a lot of the new Pokemon they brought in. I thought they made some interesting design choices. I love the wild area, the open world Pokemon aspect. I think it was a very well executed game that a lot of people, quite frankly, I think should feel foolish for not giving it a chance.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree with you.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Clearly you have impeccable taste, so why not check out another video if you liked what you saw, or binge a playlist if you really liked what you saw. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, follow our social media, check out saturnstuds.com, and most importantly, party like it's 1995.